And you guys are live.
Thanks for tuning in again to another daily episode, broadcast of John Williams Show News Breaking News. We have a exclusive interview today to bring to you to those who are out there in radio land and those who are out there in internet TV land. We have a very special guest today, a very independent young lady who is running for governor here in the state of Texas. As we go to our phone lines and as we go to our exclusive interview right here uh, with our breaking news, who do we have the pleasure of interviewing today?
Well, hi, I'm Deirdre Gilbert, and thank you for allowing me to have this opportunity.
Well, we want to thank you for being a special guest right here on Breaking News with the John Williams Show. And I know you have some interesting things to say, and we want to just jump right into this interview. Give everybody your URL, who you are, and how you got involved in running for governor here in the state of Texas. And the floor is yours.
Well, like I said, I'm Deirdre Gilbert, and I'm going to say I've been around for quite some time, but I'm guessing that nobody really saw who I was. I was working behind the scenes, if I must say. But I am running for governor of the state of Texas, and I've been in politics, I'm going to say at least over 40 years. But my mother was in politics. I didn't have any desire, per se, to really actually run for office until 2000 and instead of and like 2000, I'm going to say 2018, when I ran for justice of the peace. My problem is that in 2011, when my daughter passed away from medical malpractice, I realized that the people were just not creating laws that were conducive to the least of us, is what I call it. And so we were having some difficulties with getting legislation changed, people understanding that we really need safeguards as it relates to human rights issues in the state of Texas, and matter of fact, across the country. And when this wasn't happening, I figured, well, why not run? So many people were really looking forward for me to run for justice of the peace in Fort Bend County. And I sort of kind of jumped over the whole block and went all the way to the top, because I realized the governor is the most has the power to create, or I'm going to say to help to manage legislation, although he's not responsible for writing it. He can, and so when we couldn't get what we needed as it related to tort reform, when my daughter passed away, when I started seeing issues in the courtrooms, our justice of the peace courtrooms, where people were being sued for frivolous debt that they didn't owe and losing their homes to evictions and all of these things, I just thought that, we needed a change. And then looking at what we have right now, we definitely need a change of leadership with what we have in the office right now, because right now nobody really cares about anything except for money. And I think it's time to focus on what people really need, and people really just want to have the basic necessities of life. So this is who I am, and and this is why I'm running, and I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. This is wonderful, because this gives us an opportunity, those who vote independently, to get out and vote for a candidate that you can trust in, that has some of the same ideas that you have. We get into this traditional way of voting. Texas is doing a lot of new things, and I wanted you to kind of elaborate on some of the things that Texas is doing. As far as the new voting right issues and things like that. I'm a traditional voter. Now they got some new things coming up with the Voting Right Act, especially here in the state of Texas. And I'm sure you're probably familiar with that, especially in rural areas where they're trying to do some suppression, if you will. And then there's also some things dealing with the Texas border as well. And I'm sure a lot of our listeners want to know a little bit about that. If you can,
Well, I mean, as
Go
far
ahead.
as it relates to the voting rights, I don't think that our voting rights has actually been taken away. I do know that there have been things that have been in place and people putting other things in place that keeps us from voting. I'm going to say seamlessly. Um, we have the right to vote. It's just the things that they put in place to try to keep us from voting, which is the problem. I believe that there is uh,
Absolutely.
too much power in the hands of these elective leaders, and these elective leaders are abusing those powers by creating legislation and by creating laws and rules and regulations that makes no sense whatsoever, or to just for them. And it's time for a change for that. So we need to have some sort of way, and I'm going to put it like this: there has always been suppression. We just hadn't seen it. You know, they were gerrymandering. They use different words depending on what party you're talking about. If you're Republican, you're gerrymandering, and if you're on a Democratic side, then you're talking about voting rights regulations, and all of
Mm.
these things are pretty much all the same. We have to focus on getting the correct leaders in position so that we can create legislation that will allow people to have the right to vote seamlessly, which means that no one should have any problems by just going to somewhere and voting. Texas is under the two-party rule or the two-party system, which means that you only have two parties that they like to recognize, and that's Republican and Democrat. I am an independent, which simply means that there are not very many independent people who are running because we have a different set of rules and regulations that are created by the parties themselves, the overseers, and I think it's just called busy work. And but people should have the ability to vote for whoever they want to vote for, and no matter what, whether or not they're Republican, Democrat, Independent, Green, Libertarian, or whoever they may be, if they good at what they do and if they are dependable and they want to help people, we should have the right to have those people on our ballot without having to go through all of these problems and circumstances. But this is where we are right now. The border. The border is a hot mess. And this is what I say: it's a hot mess out there. Um, and I'm seeing some things that probably could be definitely deterred, or definitely could have been avoided, because we do already have these certain things in
Yes.
place. I think right now, and I think I've said it before, I think we're just going through a phase of pomp and circumstance. We're going through a voting uh, election year here coming up here. So I think that people are playing games um, and creating narratives so that they can either look good or someone else can look bad, and not necessarily taking care of the business. Because as I was talking to you guys, I think about last week when I told you about the bus and how they were shipping, these people out of the state. Well, Greg Abbott said it himself that he didn't really send he didn't send like thousands and thousands of them. And they had a very nice ride. They went to McDonald's. They, you know, uh,
Yeah.
they had armbands on. They were checked in. And I thought that was pretty strange, because if you could do that for those that you sent there, then sure enough, you could have that same process here. Um,
Absolutely.
so I also say that there's something wrong when we have people who you can't walk across the waters, and you can't walk that land to get this close to the border. So someone is dropping these people off close enough where they can walk, in water. And then what happens is they're putting the border patrol in danger, like the young man who lost his life
Yeah. Absolutely.
uh,
On the ground.
last week, because these people with this foolishness, because you're walking across all of this water, and you don't know what the undercurrents are. You're bringing babies over here. You're doing all of this stuff. And I feel for people who really need to come here, and who's looking for a better life. But I'm also concerned about the people who are already here, who are also looking for the same opportunities that they're not receiving. But those who walk across, and get on this land are given opportunities that those who live here do not have. And I think that that's not right. People who have been here, the farmers who are fighting for their property to keep people off, stealing their land and stealing their property and destroying their crops and all of these things, even breaking in their homes. That needs to be addressed, and that we should not be having that.
Absolutely.
Anybody who wants to come into any state or any other country needs to come through the process. But we need to make the process where it's easy for them and it doesn't take so long. But with what we have right now, I think I think it's just a disaster for, a lot of more human trafficking, um, and drugs and guns and all kinds of things to get here. Because once they come over and land and they're not processed, where you
Absolutely.
that's it.
Absolutely.
That's it.
Absolutely. And we're about running out of time here. We have
Yes.
another 3 minutes left. So I wanted to give you a last thoughts on the COVID and what are you going to be this month? This month, so people could. We're going to be doing a meet and greet. If you could just give a little bit on that, and we have like 3 minutes left.
Well,
You
we'll
can,
be our first stop will be in Fort Worth, hanging out with you guys. We got two places, and I believe it's the Legal Cafe, is one of them, and the Doc Bookshop. There it is. There it is, right there. The wait is over, and I'm thankful for hosting United by Justice and the Legal Cafe and WDBS TV for allowing me this opportunity. Thank you for hosting this. You all wanted me to make my first stop in Fort Worth, and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to come to meet the people, and so that we can really start talking about what we need to do, for me to get on this ballot in November.
absolutely, absolutely. And there were some other issues that you wanted to address as well, um, dealing with the those ghost candidates as well. So there's going to be some things that we're going to be talking about, dealing with, and addressing here in the upcoming weeks. And again, we're definitely glad to have you on. We're definitely
Thank
going to
you.
have you back again to share with our viewers and our listeners. And we definitely want to thank you again. And anybody you want to give a shout out to? We still have another 2 minutes, 3 minutes left.
Well, I just want to shout out to everybody. I just want anybody who's listening to really start following me, asking me to come visit, to their respective counties, so that I can address and talk about some of the issues that need to be addressed. We
And what's the
really,
best way
really
for them to get into contact with you? You can give that.
okay. Well, you can go to Facebook and look up Deirdre Gilbert for governor. That's one of the places. You can also go to our website, which is www.gilbert, the number 4gov.com. And those are the two places. I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, and it's Gilbert for governor or the number 4 for gov, and you will be able to find me and send me a message or come call you.
Yeah, absolutely. And to our listeners and our viewers, this is the hardest working woman I know in GOV. I tell you, and she also
Yes.
have you run a StreamYard, right? A podcast platform, right?
I do podcasts, but I also work with veterans during the day. We help homeless veterans find employment. So I work with it in conjunction with the Department of Labor. So yes. So
See, yeah, absolutely. And already the groundwork is already done. So we're definitely going to have to get behind you. And I was talking to some people today as well, and put your name out there. So there's going to be a lot of people, I believe, that's going to really, really be advocating with you and really standing behind you. And again, we want to thank you for coming out and being a special guest on the Breaking News with John Williams. And
thank you.
I don't know. The coming weeks, we're ready to see you. Ready to get out of the
Well,
Fort Worth.
thank
You
you.
better stay healthy. Ready to see you, Fort Worth. Fort Worth, here she come.
Thank you for breaking the news. And I love your t-shirt. Being prepared is half the battle.
And this is this is El Centro College. Shout out to El Centro College, downtown Dallas. This is breaking news, John Williams.
Thank you.